Hi, and welcome to today's live. We have a very special guest today. Today we have Laura with us, and Laura has been one of my clients on and off since 2022. And I was just looking at the date and being absolutely mind blown. Laura is exceptional. Her business she has built such a beautiful business. She's working 4 hours a day, and this is part of the entire method that she's teaching other people online how to build a business where you also have a lot of freedom. So today we are, as you can guess, going to talk about this, but also because Laura is a mom to be very soon. She is preparing her maternity leave. And the discussion around today is going to be around how she's preparing this, how she's preparing to leave a little bit her business, and how is this going for her. So I'm going to welcome Laura in and explain all of this. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Gwen. Do you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. So nice to see
Great.
you.
You too.
So good. So, everyone, here's Laura. So, I was giving a little introduction about you, Laura, and just saying to everyone how crazy it is that we have been, like, you have been one of my clients for on and off since 2022. I had to like look it up and be like, when was the first thing that Laura did? And just thinking about your business, your podcast, how it was like 4 years ago, and now is
It's crazy. Like when you said 2022 in the introduction, I was like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because in my head, it's like, my business has only existed for a year. And it's like, yeah, no, that's no longer the case. And I remember
no.
like one of the first things we worked on was like I had launched my podcast and I was like, this is like a yoga podcast. We were like, you might want to like think about it in a little bit of a broader sense if you want to actually like use this as a marketing tool. And I was like, what do you mean? And when I look at like the branding and the concept from the podcast from 4 years ago, I was like, yeah, that wouldn't have made it very far.
I remember that you had those hatha classes, only the sound
Yeah.
was recorded as a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I love
Exactly.
it.
And it's still on the podcast. Like honestly, you could go back right now and you could listen to it and it's like recordings from in-person yoga classes. And I think, that's just part of the whole like taking messy action and like doing the like playing the entrepreneur game of like, this is the first idea I have. Like obviously today the podcast is so different, but it's still on there.
Yeah, but I think like that's one of the big thing is to actually take messy actions, and instead of just waiting to have the perfect idea to finally know how to do something.
Exactly. I had no clue what I was doing. I was like sitting around in GarageBand for 3 hours at a time while editing the episodes, and I was like, I guess I have to learn this. And it's so great to know how all these things work. And then eventually you can be like, okay, well now let's outsource this part. Like I don't need to like spend 3 hours a week in GarageBand. But I'm happy I did it because now podcasting feels easy. Back when we first started working together, it was like, oh my God, like how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna get an episode out every week?
Gosh, yes. And before we even continue this conversation, because I feel like we are going to dive right in, please, Laura, introduce yourself and tell a little bit like to my audience who don't know you yet, who you are and what you are doing online.
Yeah, a lot of things. Yeah. So, I don't know if you mentioned this in the introduction, but I'm also a lawyer with like 12 plus years of experience in the legal field. When I first started my business, I was like, I'm just going to be like a yoga teacher online. But now I would say my business is actually leaning way more towards like the legal, the contract, the structure side of running a business. And so that's what I help other online business owners with today to essentially work 4-hour days, like the way I do, with systems that protect their business and their income. So at the end of the day, their lives feel like permanent vacations. I come from this background of like feeling just super stressed out in my corporate law jobs. And I was like, no way, when I start my business, I want this to feel chill. I want it to feel good. The goal for me was never to like go out and like scale to $1 gazillion. It was like, I want to be my own boss. I want to have freedom. And I want to figure out systems and ways to fund that life, which is pretty much what I do today and what I help my clients with as well.
Yeah. And I feel like it's I love that you spoke about like the gazillion dollars, because so many times it's actually like also putting back into what we want right now. And I think so many times when we start looking online, it's like if we have other goals of other people also, and then start to like want to match those other people goals when we actually have our own. And just before coming on this live, that's so funny, just before coming on this live, I actually like in my notes found like a very old, like probably like Instagram live that I did, where I wrote some ideas, and I was saying like, oh my god, it's feel like so weird share these stories on like how I went from being a yoga teacher teaching 5 classes a day to making 10K per month. And I've never wanted to make 10K a month. And I just like, this was probably like from many years ago. And I just find it so interesting how we may see other people's goals and just like think, oh yeah, that is mine. And I think like even with the 4 hours, and we're going to talk about like working 4 hours like a day with your method today, but it's also like, what is our goal like as a person? What fits for our life? I think that's really like the aim, not a gazillion dollar.
Exactly. And I definitely got sidetracked by it as well. It's easy to come in and to the online business space and like see everybody talking about how much money they're making online. And I think I kind of fell down that rabbit hole for a minute, thinking like, I'm not going to be successful unless I'm like flying around the world, speaking on stages, like flashing how much money I'm making. And I really had to like get, like have a serious conversation with myself and be like, what's going on, Laura? Like that was literally never the purpose. That was never the reason we started this. Like I said, I come from this background in law in Copenhagen, and I can tell now from all the lawyers and attorneys I know worldwide, the industry is pretty much the same. It was already flashy and big and money and how many hours have you built this, that, and the other. I left because I didn't like any of that stuff. I've gone to all the fancy dinners and like worn the fancy suits and high heels, and I was like, that is not where happiness lies for me. So why would I go chase that online? So to me, it's just different. It's like, I'd much rather have these chill work days. And like, obviously it's not like I don't want to make money. Of course I want to make money. We all want to make money, but not at the cost of like my health, time with my family, and just how I feel on a day-to-day basis in my business.
Yeah, and it's so important, right? So how did you end up transitioning into a work day that is 4 hours? What are things that were important that you did put in place?
It was actually some of the very first curriculum I was teaching my clients from yoga. Like when I think you were actually part of helping me launch my first like one-on-one mentorship, Free to Flourish, where I was like, what is it that these people need to learn? And at that time, my niche was like corporate women, like the people that had kind of burned out in their 9 to 5, very much like an avatar of myself in a way, which I've seen that's pretty much what happens with your ideal client profile. It's like you 5 years ago, right? And what had helped me so much, apart from like, going on the whole yoga journey and like the teacher trainings, I knew that a lot of the women that would come into my world wouldn't necessarily commit themselves to like studying yoga philosophy and all of that. So I was like, how can I distill this information down to someone who's like, I just need to feel good in my everyday life? And I looked at like 4 core routines of the day, of like, there needs to be like space in the morning to do something that makes you feel good, and you're not like diving right in to your inbox and your coffee right away, which is like the standard in law and in corporate for a lot of people. And then looking at what kind of routines can I set up around my workday to feel good, like make sure you drink the water, go outside, look at the sunshine, stretch your body, like very simple things that at the end of the day make you feel so much more energized than I'm just going to drink my fifth cup of coffee sitting in front of my laptop because I have so much work I need to do. And then the third, the third routine was like around, I called it Wind Down, which was the first online course we launched together in Elevate, which was about this whole routine of like you transition out of your workday, but you can't really relax and like cook dinner and be present with your family because it's like, oh my God, I could still like check all these emails and post all these things on Instagram. And like, I still have like 5 things I'm behind on. How do you create that kind of like, it's time to just like settle down and not think about work for a minute, and then a bedtime routine. And that is like one of the things that I follow every single day. I teach to all my clients, and I can see how important it is to have that structure and foundation of routines in your day for like whatever kind of work you want to be doing, if it's in corporate or if it's in business. Like it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. And so now, and congratulations again. And so now you are a mom to be. So you are going to be a mom very soon, in like a couple of months or something.
Actually, today it's like exactly 3 months until my due date. So
Okay.
my ribs are starting to hurt. I can't really breathe, and I eat like tiny little portions of food because I feel like there's no space in my belly anymore.
The joy, all the joy.
The joy of motherhood. I'm feeling it already. It's amazing.
And so you are preparing for your maternity leave.
Yes, very
And so
much.
how does that look like for you? Like, what do you feel is going to be different? And are you going to work, not work? What are you planning ish?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I just recorded a podcast episode about this last week where obviously I sat down to like think about how is this actually going to go? It's something I've been putting a lot of thought and energy into even before I felt pregnant. And when I was kind of like thinking about it for the episode and also what we're talking about today, I was like, it's interesting how I feel like I've almost built my business to have space for family and babies and maternity leave from the get-go. It was, like I said, it was never like hustle, 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 let's do this. It was like, let's build a spacious business. Let's make sure that like we're not making stupid investment decisions, all of these things. So everything feels chill. And so when I looked at how am I going to do this? Like now that I'm pregnant, I was like, well, it doesn't feel that difficult because I feel like I've set my business up for this from the beginning. I can elaborate a little bit on that if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that
Necessary.
makes so much
Yeah.
sense, because
Yeah.
that's exactly what you have done. Like, you have built a business that is supporting you, supporting the season of life that you were in, and then now supporting the season of life that you are going to be in, which is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And so in your, like right now, I think you are leading a program that is called SOP Bootcamp, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I feel like your work and like how you have set yourself up through system is through SOPs that are
Yeah.
helping you having like more time, and so work just 4 hours a day. And then you also have funnels. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly that I feel like in the big, I never really feel like I just crashed into business and it was like all over the place. But of course, like when you look back and like year 1, year 2, it's like, ooh, it was a little bit all over the place. But I think I've always been like very organized and structured, and like I entered programs like Elevate and different business programs to make sure that I was taking the right steps in the right order. So I feel like I've been like really strategic about how I've built everything up. And then I quickly saw like, oh, okay, if you need to like launch your group program like 4-6 times a year and some master classes and conversion events and this, that, and the other, like that can start to feel like a lot of tasks you need to keep track of. And then you start to sign the clients and then you need to serve them as well. And you still want to have time to like just be a human and enjoy your life. So I was like, okay, let's build some systems around this. I love systems. Like I even had a manager once who called me like a structure fascist because just like, you just put everything in systems, but it really helps. And that's what I'm teaching in the SOP boot camp now, that it's like, okay, let's just get an overview of like everything that's going on in the business. When is it happening? How often? Like, what's your capacity? Because you have some like bandwidth and you can choose like how much time and effort do you actually want to put in. I think a lot of the times people don't ask themselves, how much do you want to work? Like, what is the deadline? Does the deadline need to be in 2 weeks? Could we push it so it's in 4 weeks? And then suddenly you have much more space and people are like, oh my God, I hadn't even thought about that. And that's definitely something I learned from law, where everything was like super urgent, super last minute. And as soon as you ask, like, why is this deadline so tight? They're like, well, because we didn't get to it until now. And I was like, well, then we just need to plan better. So that's how I've structured my whole business now around that. Then obviously the funnels that we worked on together and the ads that tie into that as well has been like a total game changer for my business, because I think until I got the funnels in place, everything was based on organic content, which I think is the case for a lot of online business owners. And especially in the beginning, I don't want to disregard how important it is to learn how to launch, learn how to, create and post organic content, because I feel like it's very much those skills that have enabled me to build the funnels as quickly as I did and like see results from them. But it's just taken off this like, I am my own sales system kind of feeling, to like, I build a system that's holding this together, and I can sit down those 4 hours a day when I work and be like, okay, what could I improve on the system today? Instead of like, I need to post on Instagram, otherwise I'm not gonna make money tomorrow. That's like, yeah, no thanks anymore.
Yeah.
That was really
because
fun in 2022.
yeah, and that's a big difference, right, between
Yeah.
2022 and then 2025, and like now how it's going to go for you in 2026. Because setting up the funnels, of course, like you say, they are a game changer. It's just like suddenly you're like, like I could
Yeah.
not post. And if you want to post, you can post either because you have something to say or because you want to post, but it's not because you post. That's your only strategy to make money.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
sounds crazy. Like, to me, it
It
sounds
does.
crazy.
And it's a lot of control that you put in the hands of an algorithm. And I understand why a lot of people in the online business space is so stressed out, because like even me with my Instagram account, my reach is not very high at the moment. My story views are not very high. If I didn't have any other sales system or any other type of like client management system in my business, I would be very stressed as well, because it'd be like, oh my God, I sat down to create content for 2 hours today and 30 people watched it. Now what? Like, I can't keep doing it this way. But I think having the ads and the funnels in place kind of takes some pressure off of that, because now I'm like, I don't need to post, but I feel like I have so much to share. I have so much to say. I just do it because it feels fun. And it's like, here's like part of my day. Here's what I'm up to. Here's how we can work together. And it's not from this like pressured feeling of like, and now you really, really need to buy this, because no one wants to buy for that frequency. That's horrible.
Yeah,
Right?
and also in your 4 hours, if you don't have the time to post, then you're just not going to freak out and be like at dinner with your partner and just like in the back of your mind, just thinking like, I haven't posted. As soon as I finish dinner, before taking my shower, I need to create this post, and just like sit down in the dark
Yeah.
and write your piece of
No.
content. You will just not do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, I don't. And I don't want it to be that way.
Yeah.
It's like, I think there's a lot, like you can be in camp, like batch your content or like plan your content ahead, or be like, I'll wing it on the day. But again, because of the way I work, because of the structures I've created for myself, I'll always try and be like a couple of days ahead and have some content planned out. So I'm not like sitting in the moment being like, oh my God, I haven't posted. What are we going to do? But it's like, I wrote the story sequence like 5 days ago. That was pretty good. Maybe we could like turn that into something else. There's always something to pull from. And at the same time, the funnels and the ads are holding you in the background. So even if you don't post, people come into your world, people go through all the different steps. And I can also just see building these systems, like it takes time, as it does with everything. And people need a lot of touch points today. And so just, I remember when we set the first funnel, I was like, wow, this is so interesting because this is the work I would normally put in to like set up an entire email campaign for a launch of like, I've scheduled these 20 emails. But then when the launch is over, it's like, and what now I have to like write another 20 emails and do it again in 2 months. I don't want to do that. So when we set up the funnel, I was like, oh, I did it once and it's going to keep working and I can keep looking at the data and I can keep improving it. And this is very time versus like this really works for me in an entirely different way. But I don't feel like I would have been able to like build the funnels as quickly as I did if I didn't have the experience of having gone through like having seen how does a launch usually go, like what usually happens, like how many different things do you need to talk about for people to understand what the program is really about. So I think they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to like see in terms of logic. It's depending on like what is your background and your understanding of marketing and launching and campaigns and so on, to first learn the front end of your business and knowing like how to connect with people and how to actually make sales in your business with your words. And then you can put those words in an automated experience, yes, your funnel. But before, if you don't know how to sell, your funnel is not going to know how to sell neither. So
exactly,
yes, 100%. You just did it in the right order. And so for everyone, actually, like Laura joined Funnel Queen Mastermind, the first cohort that was in August 2025, so last year. And so when you joined, and because like Funnel Queen Mastermind actually starting again like next Monday, so in a week, so that's perfect timing. And so when you joined, what state of mind were you in? Just so like people who are actually thinking about doing this can just like match, am I ready for this or not?
Yeah, I feel like you launched it at the perfect time for me. I was like setting everything up in my Thrive card and like moving my product suite around and like refining all my sales pages, like tick, 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 everything's ready. And then you came out and like you had this whole rebrand and new positioning and funnels. And I was like, yes, that's exactly the missing piece because I don't want to post in my Instagram stories all the time. So I was like, I'm going to join that to set that system up. But I don't want to disregard the footwork I did in my business before joining the funnel mastermind. Because like I think there's a difference, like just to like talk about when is a good time to come into the program. I felt like when I came into the program, I was like, I have my freebie in place. I have my landing page for that in place. I have my low ticket offer, my mid ticket offer. Like I knew my entire product suite, how I wanted people to flow, in what direction. I had a ton of content I could already use, different email campaigns from funnels, from launches I'd done before, where I could see the data. And I was like, and now we turn it into a system. Like it made perfect sense to me. But if I had joined a year before, the programs that I built the funnels around, they didn't even exist. I didn't have the word, the messaging, the concepts for what I wanted to teach. So it was just like taking one step at a time to build this up and put it in place. And then when you launched the Funnel Mastermind, I was like, cool, now we set it up. And I think that's why it felt like when you explained the strategy in the program, I was like, this makes sense. Like I have all the emails ready, like let's go, let's set it up. And it felt like I really felt like I had this like success of like, cool, like I got it done, and I got it done within a month, and now those systems are selling for me in the background, and I can go take a look at it all the time, be like, or not all the time, like once in a while I'll be like, this email is not doing well. Let's have a look at what's going on in there. But it's not from this pressure of like, oh my God, no one opened my email full from my launch. What are we going to do?
Yeah. And I think like what you're saying is so important. I actually received yesterday or today or yesterday testimonial from this last cohort of Funnel Queen Mastermind. And she said, I built my funnel before the end of the mastermind. And so her profile actually is really close to yours. And I think that's really interesting for everyone, is because she has a freebie. She had a paid masterclass, I think. Like she had like some micro offers, like low ticket type of offers, and some freebie, and she already sold them or launched the freebies or like all of the things. So she had some emails, she knows the messaging, she knows when people were coming in. she had some emails, her sales pages. And so all we have done during the 5 weeks is to actually review all those assets. So they match for cold traffic and so on, and behavior and all the behaviors, but also all the biotypes, like all of the things. So that's also how in 5 weeks it can be done. And then she told me she finished before the 5 weeks, and then she set up an entire new funnel in 1 day.
Yeah.
And because now she knows how to do it, so it's so easy to do another one. And you're like, yes, because for you,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
probably also take you no time now.
Exactly. And it's like an entirely new way of thinking in a way that I wasn't really, because I didn't really know how to do it before. I was like, I kind of see where I need to go with this, but I didn't set it up in an automation. I'd be like for instance, I would have like a low ticket masterclass that's available, like instant access, like it's pre-recorded. But then I would launch it every quarter, for instance. And then every quarter I'd add some kind of like live element or one-to-one element with me, but it would be, I would set it up as like, this is something I'm live launching on the side of this masterclass that already exists. And then when I learned the funnel strategy, I was like, that's actually stupid. Like, why don't I just set up an automated email sequence every time someone comes into this offer? They'll just be like sold this additional thing that I want to offer on top, but I don't have to go around and be like, when do I have time to like add this into my launch calendar? Like, it's just now it just lives in the system. And I feel like that way of thinking very much came from like learning the whole strategy behind funnels.
Yeah, and I feel it, as you said, it is such a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
And when we used to just sell live, it's just so different than, yeah, we just have to like do some some new pattern of
Yeah.
how we can sell without launching.
Exactly. And I think it really, what I like about the strategy is it kind of takes you out of that launch roller coaster. Like one of the, like, and what I mean by, I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that, but like you put in all the energy and the hype, and you're like, here's the masterclass, everybody come join, and you like go on live, and there's like 3 people, and you're like, this does not match my expectations. And then it feels like all the work was like wasted. I used to have that feeling around like live launching, and now I can just see like, even if one person shows up, even if like one person joins, whatever it is, I don't care, because I understand these like evergreen systems that like, it doesn't matter, because I'll put it into my system and someone will come along in 6 months who'll like binge every single thing I've posted in the last year and sold in the last year. And they'll be like, oh my God, this was so helpful. And I had that on the weekend. Someone messaged me and she was like, I listened to this podcast episode and that podcast episode and this one and that one. And then I went to watch this masterclass and then I bought that masterclass. And then I took the audio bump as well with all these audios. And I'm like, that's taken me 2 years to record. And I remember selling every single one of those and being like, oh, I don't know, why is no one liking this post? Why is no one reacting? And now I can see how like it was just like building one asset or like one piece of content on top of the next, that now when someone comes into my world, it's like
Boom, boom,
time-rich
boom, boom, boom.
Netflix. Yeah, like go have fun. I'll be off for the weekend, but everything's available to you. Yeah.
But that's it. I will be off for the weekend and you can just go for it, you know? And I think like this is also what I like so much about having funnels. And for me, what you describe is what I call like a silent sales system, where it's not just
Yeah.
a funnel, it's like your entire, everything that you have, your podcast, the old masterclass, all of the things. Sometimes they're not really connected as a funnel per se, but they're part of a system that is going to make sales for you while you are having your weekend and doing all of your things, you know, and people can be served and they don't need to wait that you launch this masterclass again in 2 months, because then that leads to your launch where it goes blah blah blah. Like, who cares? Like,
Exactly. Yeah, I think when we talk about these systems, like sometimes we have like sometimes we fall into this like, what's in it for the business owner, what's in it for the CEO who's like teaching all of this stuff. But actually from like from a client perspective, what I really love when I come into someone's world who's already set all of this up, I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like I can just go binge every single thing that I want from this person in my own time. I don't want to sit and be like, oh, so the masterclass is like at 7 p.m. next Thursday, but I actually kind of want to be off at that time. I don't want to watch it. I'm going for a walk with my dog in a minute. It would be nice if I could just like pop on my headphones and listen to it while I'm out on a walk. I think the system, like in the day and age of like content overwhelm and 2026, like we're all just like online all the time. It's really nice to be able to plug into all these assets when it works for the client. So and that's even something I'm looking for now when I sign up to work with other people. I'm like, where's your library? Where's your Netflix? Like, where can I dive in? Like I was signing up to a freebie from a tapping coach the other day, and I was like, I did a freebie. She was guest teaching in another course I had bought, and I was like, oh, I really like this tapping coach. I wonder what else she has. And there was like one free tapping on her website, maybe that was like old, and I was like, that's too bad. And then she sent me like 3 automated emails, but there were no assets in there that I could like dive into and like tap on my own or like watch her masterclass, get to know her better. And I feel like if she just delivered more of that to me, because I know she has all the assets, but I can't find them. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll go find someone else. And that's too bad.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think like a lot of the time, a lot of people are making it hard actually to buy from them.
Yeah.
And that's why building funnels or systems and our backend is actually changing how we think, because then every time you create something, it is going to live forever. And you create it because you know it's going to be a tripwire one day, or it's going to be a bump offer, or it's going to be an upsell, it's going to be something. And it is an asset. It is not just an expiration date of one day you created and then it's goodbye. It's such a
Exactly.
waste of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's too bad how many people I see are creating that way and disregard how amazing their offers actually are, because like, oh, well, only 3 people joined. I don't understand why. And it's like, well, you just haven't talked about it enough, or like the right people weren't in your world at the time. They might come in 6 months later and suddenly it'll be like the best thing you ever created. And you'll be like, oh my God, that's right. I totally forgot.
Yeah, exactly. And so before you joined Funnel Queen Mastermind, did you have any hesitation? Like, was there like some stuff that you were not sure about?
Not really. I remember just like
Yeah.
watching you blow up your like change your positioning and like change what you were doing. I was like, yep, this makes perfect sense to me. I think I said this to you in the program. I was like, did you use me as like one of your ideal clients because you you created a post that was like, you lived the life you journaled about 2 years ago. I was like, that's me. So I just felt like the offer came at a time where I plugged it right into my business. Like I planned around it for what I was going to focus on in August, and I was like, let me set the time aside that I need to set up these funnels and let's go. I would say that's the only like objection in a way, is that it might be time consuming for someone. So it's important that you decide, I'm going to do this. But I feel like that's the case with any program you join, like similar to the SOP bootcamp I'm running right now. I would say to all the girls that are inside, like, commit to it and commit to the system, because if you come in and join one call, of course it's not going to work. Like, and of course it's not going to get implemented. Like, we need to put in the work. The only other thing would be if I knew that I didn't have my assets ready, that it was like, I still don't know how to create a freebie. I still don't really know how to write a sales page. Those things, like, obviously we can work on that. But then if those assets are not in place, it's just knowing that it's going to take a little bit longer to set that up. But it's totally
Yeah.
doable.
Yeah. And that's it. Like, I feel that I haven't had some clients, and I think like she was actually in your cohort, where she did a funnel she did not have a business before. Like, she had an old email list from other things, and she created a funnel, and she straight away made so many sales. And I think her funnel is at like 25, 29% conversion rate. And she's doing super well and she did not build sales page before. She did not have a freebie before. And she built all of those assets during the 5 weeks, but she
Yeah,
moved her ass a lot to do all
exactly.
of this, in 5 weeks. So it just depends so much also on like where you're at, what season you are in, how much do you want to work during those 5 weeks. you're going to have to work a lot if you don't have any assets ready, but you want your funnel to be ready in 5 weeks. And if you don't want, then yes, having them ready is going to be very helpful.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember I did it as like it was kind of like my summer holiday project that it was in August and I was like, I don't have any active client work. I'm not like launching anything new. I'll just like study this program like when I come back from the beach and then write a couple of emails for my funnel and set it up. So like when I say it took me like 4 or 5 weeks, it wasn't like full-time work for 5 weeks. It was like, let's do this because it's fun. But I think that's just how I like to work. I can totally see how it's possible to set the whole thing up if you dedicate the time
Yeah.
to it. And if you're listening to this and it's like, oh my God, I don't have my freebie yet. Then let's get to work. Let's record it. Let's do it.
Yeah. It depends really on how much we want to work, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And so you had from this, I think, like, if I remember well, you made your first sale like 3 weeks after
It was
with your
like,
funnels.
I feel like it was while I was in the program. Or maybe it was, no, maybe it was like the week after. But I'd had someone go through it. And it was funny because she was actually like, um, I'm waiting to like trickle down your funnel to get the email where I get the link to
Yeah.
buy. And I was like, maybe I should like include it a little bit earlier than like email 4 or something. But she'd worked with me in a couple of other different ways and like downloaded all the freebies. And she was like, I'm just waiting for it to come so I can join the next course. And that's it. And now I think I see, I can't always tell like exactly like it came from this email or on this day, that day, but I can see how like all the work that the funnel is doing for me on the back end is like making my life easier because someone might like read all the emails and then go listen to the podcast and I won't have any idea about that for the first 4 months that they're in my world. And then something happens and they send me a message and I'm like, hey, I want to join this thing. I'm like, where did you come from?
Yeah. It is a long game, I feel. It is a long game of really wanting to utilize everything that you create and not just like putting in the bin as soon as it's finished, like your emails,
Yes.
all of the things that we're building. And why would we not do that?
Yeah, and I saw it in my business as well when I was only doing like traditional organic content and live launching emails, that the people who would join my offers would usually have been in my world for like 6 to 12 months before they like made a bigger purchase. And so I'm not surprised that like sometimes it takes a little bit longer. I don't expect someone to come on my email list and the day after be like, oh my God, like you're my like biggest guru in the world. It's like, come in, hang out, like get to know the vibe around here and take your time to make the decision. And I feel like the funnel and all the content I have on the podcast, all free and like low ticket content, that it all helps with that.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful when we feel also safe in ourselves, in our business, knowing that our business is supporting us, but also that we can let people make a decision like they want to make it. And I
Yeah.
think so many coaches are like, no, no, if someone is not buying from you like from day one, you have a problem. You are not good enough. And I'm like, well, think so. And I think even as a single human that I am, sometimes I jump into an expensive mastermind on the day I discover the person and follow her on Instagram and go completely cray cray, you know? And sometimes I'm going to follow this person for like 4 years and then I'm going to join a $50 offer, you know? It has nothing to
Exactly.
do with the person. It has everything to do with my needs. And so
Yeah.
sometimes we are a first buyer and sometimes we are not. And so I think so many people are building the business in thinking of all of those should of like someone should come right away. And it's true that someone who follows you, let's say, yes, could maybe opt into a free thing quite early because why not if you have positioned it well? But you can also just leave people do their own lives and be fine with
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of pressure off of like, like selling daily and running your business if you can think about it that way. And I think that's also what I meant with like stepping out of that launch roller coaster, that we can be so hard on ourselves and like turn the arrows inward and be like, oh my God, like now I spent 3 weeks creating this and no one likes me and everybody hates me and this, that, and the other. And it's just like, sometimes people just need a little bit more time to make a decision, like give them the options and the opportunities and the touch points to do that.
Yeah, and actually, just before coming here, like I recorded a reel that I will post tomorrow, but that is around like building a business for 2030, and not for 2026. And
Exactly.
people who are like on launches, like this is not going to work anymore. And why that? Because even right now, everyone that I see that is launching, and I'm in a lot of different masterminds. So I see people launching and making between 10 to 300K in a launch. And they all have the same problems. They all have the same problems of needing more touch points. People need more touch points, which means people need to do more sales calls. People need to put that the cart is not open just for 1 week, it's open for 2 weeks because people are not signing up. Or there are so many things that needs to be added. Another workshop in during the timeline of the launch, and another thing, because it is changing the way that the launches have to be made. And if you do that twice a year and exhausting yourself and all of your resources for this, and when you have a launch that is happening at a time where your health is not good, or maybe the health of your parents, of your partner, or something is not good, this is so much pressure, so much pressure.
Yeah.
And I don't know many people launching like this. Like I'm just launching, I have no evergreen sales funnels around, that feel actually relaxed when
No,
they are launching.
it
Yeah,
doesn't sound very relaxing to me. And I
it is
remember
not.
the it's like very vivid memory for me, the first launch that I did, which is like 3 years ago today. And it was just like, it consumed everything. I was like, is my sales page good enough? Like I need to create another reel, like checking, like, did anyone buy? It's just like roller coaster vibes all over the place of like, oh, is this good enough? And now when I just had like a 6 week launch of my SOP boot camp, but it felt so chill because it was like, well, I'm not dependent on everybody signing up to this round of the SOP boot camp. It's going to go evergreen when I've taught it live. It's going to live inside my group program. People can buy it. It's going to go into a funnel. I'm going to talk about it on the podcast. People can come and take this course when they need it. Does that take away some of the urgency and scarcity you can create in a launch? For sure, but that's not how I build my business anyway. I don't want to like pressure people into joining this program because the doors close at a certain day. I'm like, when did we start to
Yeah,
build our businesses like this? This is really stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So like, I just like having that more kind of like long game mindset of like, yeah, I'm putting a lot of effort into creating the curriculum for the SOP bootcamp because I know it's not a 4 week thing. It's like a forever system that's going to live in my business that I can keep coming back and refining, but not that I have to like come back from maternity leave in half a year and be like, now what? What are you going to do?
yeah. Imagine.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. Then I wouldn't be so
Yeah,
chill.
that will not be so chilled. Yes,
No.
for sure. So, Laura, one more question actually for you. What would you say to someone who is thinking of joining Funnel Queen Mastermind, and someone who already has offers, someone who is making sales?
Well, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. If this conversation is resonating and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I recognize those like launch vibes and like everything feeling urgent and me being hard on myself because the numbers aren't looking the way that I want them to, then that's a sign, that it's time to build something more sustainable, more evergreen, more long term into your business. And I very much feel like that's what you get when you set up funnels in your business.
Yeah, I agree, of course.
Yeah. it's like
Yeah,
it's like it's just like so, like natural to me. It's like, well, of course, of course I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
yeah. And it's, like I actually shared a post like not so long ago saying that I almost I almost did a free event, like a low ticket or free event I didn't know, because I wanted people to join Funnel Queen Mastermind. And I was just like, oh, Funnel Queen Mastermind, oh my God, waking up, I had some health issues and stuff. And so I kind of like started to wake up being like, oh, it's happening in 2 weeks. My God, should I just do like a quick masterclass? Maybe I do like a $22 offer. And then I was just like, shut up.
What are you
Shut
doing?
up.
Why?
I was like, what are you doing? No, I spent 20 minutes doing a new funnel. Why 20 minutes? Because I had everything already, all the email sequences and the stuff. I just changed like the entry point and like some stuff. And then I had 2 people already. I did that last week. I had two
Yeah.
people already joining from this, which took me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the level of stress, me not having the capacity physically, mentally, the bandwidth is just, it is actually so relaxing. But it is even myself, I have to like I caught myself
Yeah.
thinking that this was the answer. Just,
Yeah,
it's
but I think
crazy.
it's just kind of like how we're like raced into the strategy that it's like if you're launching a big like mid-ticket, high-ticket program, then you need a conversion event. I had the same thing with the SOP bootcamp, and I was like, but I don't feel like it, and I don't understand why I need to spend like 3 weeks out of my 6-week launch talking about joining something that I don't want them to join just so they can join another thing. Like I think I always had a thing with conversion events where I was like, what it like this is so it feels like a little bit of a waste of my time. Like I have a podcast that a lot of my people already go listen to. Why don't I just record an episode about what I would do in a masterclass, and that episode can like live on the podcast forever, and I can add it into a funnel and we're done, and I don't need to like stress about trying to get people into a masterclass or some random Telegram group. Like I just I can't be bothered. It just makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
And that's really like doing the thing that you want to be doing. Like
Yeah.
for me, I remember doing a free event, like when I did the 21-day funnel challenge, I just wanted to talk about funnel for 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you also
And
have that now, right? Like people can still come
yeah,
in and listen to that content. It's not like, well, if you weren't in my world in October when I put it out there, then too bad because it's never going to come out ever again. Like it's going to
yeah,
live in my Google Drive graveyard.
of course. And I have people joining it every week, probably, like at least at the
Yeah,
moment, like every week
yeah,
people are coming in. But I'm retiring it, by the way, and I'm going to do something else. But do something because you want to do it. If you want to do a masterclass, you want to share something specific, do it because you want to do it, knowing that yes, it's going to live in your office with after later, but not because you want people to convert into this other thing, because that's
yeah.
boring.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's when it puts so much pressure on like the strategy. It's like, I need the strategy to like strategize for me and work for me. And it's like, yeah, well, the strategies are pretty basic, but it's also so much about the intention and the frequency we bring into it, right?
Yeah. And it's actually, I feel like at the beginning of our business, it's difficult to be simple, but it is actually simple.
Yeah, yeah. I think I have like this. It feels in a way it feels like I have a lot of offers, but at the same time, it's like the same maybe 10 places I invite people into over and over again. And I see how much time and effort it takes to like educate on those spaces and like, this is for this purpose, this is for that purpose. Like, come in when you're ready for this, that, and the other. But it's not like, and now I can't help you with your contracts because you weren't ready before the doors closed on like end of February or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, yeah, come get your contracts done, but make sure that you're ready for it because I don't want to push you into like making this big investment in your business and you're not ready or your business is going to totally change in 3 months and then we have to redo the contracts again. Like whatever. Like I think it really also takes the client into perspective of like come in and join these spaces when you're ready for it, not because I need to like have a 20K month or whatever. Like that cannot be the purpose.
Yeah. The purpose is never the money. And so
No.
the money is always just a byproduct of who we are, what we do, and how much impact and love we put also in our business.
Yeah.
Ah, so nice. Well, Laura, thank you so much to be here and having like talked about how you are working 4 hours a day, like your method, the SOP, of course, the funnels, your experience inside Funnel Queen Mastermind. And of course, everyone who's thinking about joining Funnel Queen Mastermind, just send me a message and we can chat. But also, like, Laura is the person, just so you know, well, Laura, just so you know, but also everyone here, that I recommend to absolutely everyone for their contracts. That's why everyone that I know actually hire Laura, because if they ask me who to hire for contract, I would always say Laura, because you need to hire a real lawyer when you want to do your contracts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
I had to,
ChatGPT.
no, not your VA. Your VA is not a lawyer. I had this conversation with a
Yeah.
girl the other day. It was like, my VA is helping me. And I'm like, big red flag. Like, your VA does not know, she's not an experienced contract lawyer. Like, very dangerous territory. I think even from you, Gwen, I've had like a couple of invites coming through of like, can you come teach your presentation on contracts in my mastermind? Because I feel like everybody in here needs it. And I'm like, yeah, everybody needs it. It's funny, like every time I enter a new group program or mastermind and I like people start sharing the sales pages on their websites and links and stuff, I always go on there and I look like, where's your privacy policy? Where's your marketing consent? Where's your terms and conditions? And there's like nothing. And I'm like, well, we need to do some work here. Because what I say on the contract side of things is a lot is like, we can go out and like talk about how amazing our front ends are and like we're making all this money and we're signing all these clients, this, that, and the other. And it's big business energy all the way until Laura goes, look on your checkout page and it's like, it's not big business energy inside your contracts. That's for sure. Yeah. So
Yeah. And I think that's
important.
so important. And especially depending, of course, on like which country you live in. Like there's just so many things that needs to be, yeah.
Yeah, like, and one thing is like, of course, you want to be protected. Like, especially if you have clients coming in on like 12-month payment plans, and you want to make sure that that they're obliged to pay in full and all that kind of stuff. That the wording around that is correct. But another thing is also just like looking like a proper business. I think people are getting more and more accustomed to buying online, and so if you end up on some random page where it's like, this doesn't really look compliant. Like a lot of my clients are like lawyers, like financial advisors, accountants. They know this kind of stuff and they'll be looking for that. And if it's not in place, they'll be like, kind of like a hobby business. I think I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
well,
that was
thank you so much.
Contract, like,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge about contract also. And if everyone needs contract, then of course go and see Laura for sure. Thank you so much. Have the most beautiful day for you. For me, it's starting to be so dark. I can see.
Yeah, we have like the first real spring day in Greece, and it's a public holiday. So like head out for like Greek lunches in a minute, and my mom is here visiting. So it's gonna be so much fun.
That's really good. Yes. Well, have the most beautiful day, and I talk to you very soon anyway in
We will.
our chat. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Laura.
Bye.